Welcome to the Malifaux Lore Guide. This week, I'm taking you through the story of Wong from the Bayou. As always, this video will contain spoilers for all of Wong's stories, and you can find a list of those stories in the description below for your reference. If you enjoy these videos, don't forget to leave me a like and subscribe to the channel. That would really help a ton. And with that out of the way, let's talk about Wong. Obadiah and his companions Bert and Gracie attack some humans that were wandering through the bayou. He finds some long blue robes and a wizard's hat on one of the humans and puts them on, enjoying the fact that he now looks like a wizard, in spite of the fact that the clothes don't fit him. He continues to loot the body and finds a metal bladed fan, and also notices that the mustache the man has falls off when he touches it, and is delighted when he presses it against his own face and it sticks. Bert comments that Obadiah now looks like a wizard, but it's too bad he doesn't know any magic words. Obadiah ignores him and continues searching the body, finding a small bag underneath it. He senses danger, but as always, he throws caution to the wind and picks up the bag. His mind is suddenly filled with voices that refer to him as Wong and promise to give him great power if only he will follow their tutelage. Wong replies, "Sure, why not?" And Bert looks up at him and asks him, "What's in the bag, Obadiah?" Wong replies, "Obadiah is gone, and my name is Wong now." Zoraida summons the leaders of all of the Gremlin families to a meeting. When they arrive, Sommer and Ophelia exchange threats, but they are interrupted when Gracie approaches, and Sommer notices Bert riding on her back. He admires the man's backwater pepper box, and asks him if he is the Gremlin who is known to have killed many guild men. Bert responds that that's him, and Sommer is pleased, going on to compliment him on his pig. Ophelia interrupts, telling them that they need to get the show on the road, and at that, Wong jumps down off Gracie's back, commenting that the lady will get whatever she wants, and he performs a deep bow. Ophelia replies that he's the sweetest thing, and he introduces himself as Wong, as Sommer laughs hysterically. Wong draws his fan and charges at Sommer, holding the blade out and threatening to pierce the man's skin. But at that moment, Zoraida interrupts and tells them all to gather for her meeting. She explains that she gathered them there because a great conflict is coming, but none of them are prepared for it. When some of the Gremlins object, saying that they are good at fighting, Zoraida responds with an analogy about how the Gremlins are each like a finger, useless alone, but if they come together as a fist, they are far more powerful. The analogy is lost on all of the Gremlins, but they are intrigued at the talk of fists and smashing things. She clarifies that they need to unite with each other in order to be more powerful, and the Gremlins all begin to complain that they will not work with each other. She responds that if that's the case, each of the clans will fight alone and be eliminated alone, and all of the onlookers are impressed when Sommer argues with her, but Zoraida threatens him and puts him in his place, and for the first time that any of them have seen, he neither kills her nor talks back. She proposes that all of the Gremlins form a pact, and scoops a cup of liquid out of her cauldron and offers it to Sommer, who steps forward and takes it. As one of the most unusual-looking residents of the Bayou, Wong loves engaging in theatrics, and he continuously behaves in a way to reinforce his aura of Eastern mysticism. But it's not all smoke and mirrors, as his bladed fan and the 3-demon bag are formidable weapons, though he does not yet fully understand the power that the bag contains. Wong regularly puts on shows for the other residents of the Bayou, whether they are willing or not, and he surrounds himself with followers with similar idiosyncrasies, who can often be almost as dangerous as he is. Wong likes to sample a variety of human foods when he visits the city, as the selection in the bayou is mostly limited to pork. The human vendors look at him strangely, but when he offers them real money, they gladly accept it. Wong and his 3 lightning bugs then make their way to the site of the Iron Hands tournament, where Wong intends to bet his entire life savings on Mancha Roja, the largest gremlin to ever live. He approaches a bookie, who looks down at him and asks, "What are you?" And Wong holds up a bag of money and counters, "Do you want the scrip or not?" The man replies that the odds on Mancha Roja are 45 to 1, and that it's not a very good bet, and Wong counters that it's a good thing he didn't ask for his opinion. They make their way into the Coliseum and watch as Mancha Roja participates in his first fight, where he easily pins his opponent, to Wong's delight. They watch several more fights, and Wong grows more confident that Mancha Roja has it in the bag, until he sees a fighter named Black Cloud. The man himself is not that impressive, but Wong notices that his cornermen appear to be members of the 10 Thunders, and where the 10 Thunders and gambling meet, corruption follows. He watches as Black Cloud faces off against a much bigger opponent, and after landing a punch, the opponent starts moving slowly, almost as if he's been drugged. Black Cloud easily defeats the man, who puts up very little fight. Wong suspects foul play and decides to go do something about it. He heads down to the tunnels where the fighters prepare and tells 2 of his lightning bugs to stay watch in front of Mancha's room and make sure nobody enters. Meanwhile, he and the other lightning bug head to Black Cloud's room and peek inside to see a 10 Thunders shaman performing a hex on Black Cloud's gloves. He recognizes the hex and knows the counter hex, so he tells the lightning bug to stay there and report to him the hexes that are being used between the matches, as they won't know when Black Cloud will be going up against Mancha Roja. He returns to Roja's dressing room and bluffs his way inside by telling his manager that he is a competition doctor and that the rules state he must inspect Roja between fights to make sure he's healthy enough to compete. The man is suspicious but lets him inside, and Wong is starstruck seeing his idol, but manages to keep it cool and administers the anti-hex to protect him. When Roja leaves for his next fight, Wong tells his 2 lightning bugs to stay watch and make sure nobody enters the room, as he is going to watch the fight. When he returns to his seat, he sees that Roja is not up against Black Cloud, but is pleased when he easily defeats his new opponent, and immediately afterwards, Black Cloud comes out for his own fight, and Wong sees faint puffs of green smoke as Black Cloud punches his opponent and infects him with a hex. Soon after, the opponent is defeated, and the crowd starts to suspect that something is up, and they boo him as he walks out of the ring. Wong returns to the dressing room to find his 2 guards beating up an old lady, and he yells at them to stop, as she's clearly just a cleaner. Soon after, the 3rd lightning bug approaches, and tries to tell Wong what hexes were used, but his accent is so thick that Wong cannot understand him, so he resorts to charades. Just as Wong gets the gist, Roja returns, and Wong immediately begins administering the anti-hexes over the objections of his manager. He just barely manages to finish before a contest official approaches the room and tells Roja it's time for his next fight, as he tries to fend off the 2 lightning bugs who are trying to beat him with sticks. Once again, Roja is fighting a different opponent, and for the first time he puts up a challenge, but Roja is able to submit him in the 3rd round. Immediately after, Black Cloud has another match, which he once again wins under suspicious circumstances, as the crowd jeers and boos. A tournament official announces that the final match will take place immediately, with no preparation for the fighters, as there have been accusations of foul play, and Wong sees Black Cloud's cornermen scrambling to try to come up with a last-minute hex. Wong rushes to get down to the ring, and by the time he makes his way through the crowd, the fight has already started. He sees the shaman throw some red powder into the ring, and recognizes the hex, quickly administering the anti-hex, before the shaman sees there's no result, and tries a different spell. Wong counters again, and they go back and forth, as the fighters struggle against each other, and this may have continued forever, but Wong notices that one of his lightning bugs has made his way to the other side of the ring and approaches the shaman, punching him in the side of the head and knocking him out. Soon after, Roja gets the better of his opponent and punches him so hard that he flies into the stands, as all of the onlookers rush into the ring cheering. As the voices in the bag continue to insist that Wong head to Kythera, Wong begins to give in spite of the fact that he knows it can be very dangerous. He takes a boat to the old ruins and opens the bag, releasing the 3 Oni that are trapped inside of it, and they swirl around above him with flashing lights and sinister laughter. Wong waits patiently in his boat until the Oni return to the bag, and the Oni explain to him how to perform a summoning ritual to bring back their lost master, Ling Chutzi. At this point, Wong is bored, so he pretends to perform the summoning ritual, and then tells the Oni that it didn't work, and they tell him that he needs to consult with a more powerful summoner. Wong mistakenly thinks they said Sommer, and he decides to go visit with the Bayou boss, because if nothing else, Sommer usually has some good hooch on hand. As a result of his quest to Kythera, many of Wong's followers decide to quit, and Wong himself is getting sick of the voices inside the bag. He decides to seek out some new companions, and to find somebody to dump the bag with, but he accidentally heads in the wrong direction, and winds up in the crater in the bayou that was formed by the red cage falling. While it's infested with creepy, undead, and mechanical monsters, Wong finds them easy to ignore, because the acoustics of the crater are perfect for putting on a performance. So that's it for Wong. He's another one who's had very few stories about him, but I'm wondering if that's going to change going forward. Getting tangled up with Kythera and the Red Cage might mean that he's involved in some of the more important events going on. Plus, now that we know that the voices in his bag are Oni, it's possible he might be involved in some of the events going on in the other side. As we know, one of the upcoming factions is going to deal with the Oni heavily. I think it'll be pretty cool, because the Gremlins really started off as a comic relief faction, but some of them have managed to get themselves involved in some of the more important things going on. So I hope we'll see more of that coming up. But anyway, drop a comment below and let me know what master you'd like to see me do a video on next. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. And thanks for watching.